We shall now allow Bishop Zach to make a response and expand the debate, provoke us a bit further, and yeah, before we move on. Bishop?
Thank you. For a change, I'm going to market red pepper. But don't take me seriously. I mean, who was listening? There are pictures of Professor Bukenya, Speaker Sekandi, Stephen Malinga, Tasis Kabwejere, Kainda Utafire, Professor Nsivambi. They are all sleeping through the state of the nation. My dear sister. No. That's on a lighter note. Let me try and be sure you've understood me. If you do not state the problem clearly, you begin to prescribe solutions that are not meaningful. We must try and state the problem clearly. We are always in a hurry to suggest that the church, the religious institutions are the answer, I am really saying, you asked me towards 2011, what's going to happen? Can I describe it to you? Every politician is going to find an opportunity to go into a church, to go into a mosque, to campaign, not to pray. Yeah, this is not time for prayer for politicians. No, it isn't. And I understand, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I know, but you've been praying, so there's nothing unique about it. The point I'm really making is this. You go to Western Uganda, anybody who comes from Western Uganda, you will know that the structuring of positions in Western Uganda is Roman Catholic Church, Church of Uganda Protestant, for FDC opposition, okay. Opposition and movement. I can tell you frankly that the movement are trying to quote Church of Uganda to be on their side. FDC and DP, I will try and quote Roman Catholic Church, and will this project succeed? It is potential, it could succeed. And then they will try and get the Muslim, the different factions on either side. Will it succeed? I can tell you it has potential for success. Why? Because we ourselves are locked up in the system of patronage. And if we don't understand this, I have never seen a single religious leader for whom our president, listen, for me I wanted to ask, our president, you gave Roman Catholic Church 100 million. You gave 100 million to Church of Uganda. Where did you get it from? Tell us the budget. We know that President's office owes this in how many pledges? Anybody works, Mr. Charles Romshana, how much money has the President pledged to the citizens of this country that he has not paid? Classified. But you know that should not be classified. This, as a country, we are entitled to know. We must know. But you see, what will happen is Church of Uganda will sit back and say, oh, thank you very much, Mr. President, you've helped us. Roman Catholic Church will stand up and say, thank you very much, you've helped us. Orthodox will, Orthodox, you don't have anything to say because you are not a political force. Well, if I was Museveni, I would give you nothing. Why should I give you anything? You don't have the numbers. It's very clear the way this thing works. You know? And if we don't get this, the churches will say, the churches should preach. Tomorrow, if a minister is sitting in the pulpit, in the pew, and the bishop stands up, the bishop will say nothing because he knows at the end of the day, that minister has something to do with the correction, the survival question that he raised. If we don't appreciate this, my friend here, president of DP, we will want him to go more regularly to Rubaga. That's the way this system works. If we don't break that system, and I am saying the churches, religious groupings are a significant problem. Friends, I want us to be able to analyze this problem before we begin to prescribe solutions. Here is my idea. Just as for the whole of this country, we will not make progress if we do not have a new cadre of leaders. That's my view. It is not that we need French institutions. We have too many institutions. Some of them we should scrap them. There is too much duplication. We have wonderful programs. We don't lack programs. We don't lack policies. We have everything. But what we lack is leaders, a cadre of leadership that are committed to this country. We lack that. And I can say this for anybody. So if you ask me, what are you going to do? My passion and perception is we need, if you ask me as now a church leader, what are you going to try to do? I'm forgetting the Church of Uganda. Church of Uganda is part of the problem. I know it. So I will not be able to discuss with bishops what should we do, because our president will come and seek to persuade us to be some of his chief campaign people. We will not say it loudly, but I'm telling you that's what happens in this country. We need a new cadre of leaders everywhere. We need it in the church. We don't have very many right now, so you really ask me, is there a lot of hope? I don't know. I am looking around within the church. Where is the new cadre of Muslim leaders who will not be compromised? I want to ask you, show them, where are the leaders in the Catholic Church who will not, when our president speaks, they will say, oh, Mr. President. When the minister speaks, oh, Mr. I honor, respect, I honor those of our leaders. But we must honor them because they have a passion for this country. So that's the point I'm really making. And if we don't analyze the problem, we are lost.
Thank you very much, Bishop Zach. Charles?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Bishop Zach. It appears to me that from the presentation of Bishop Zach, the Reverend Father Peter, and Amani, we seem to understand, and the discussions that STON has been having for a long time, we are touching the problem from different angles. We are not defining exactly what the problem is and how to move forward. Everybody talks about poverty is the problem, is the reason people have been compromised. Everybody talks about confusion. We talk about patronage. How exactly does this country move forward from here? STON was put up to discuss issues on how we move forward. But we are rotating around the problem like the proverbial elephant, where everybody is touching some part of it, but not finding a solution. Is there a way? The churches are full to the brim.
No. I think what you do, Charles,
Yes.
You give us that solution. How do we move forward? You answer that question. How do we move forward, actually? Let's begin to answer that question. Because in fact, I was going to ask Bishop Zach that, having said we need a new cadre of leaders who are committed to this country, my next question was going to be to do what? That new cadre of leaders. Are they going to do what Arthur LaRocque is proposing, which is two things, civics and, So what are you saying?
Okay. What we need to do as a country is avoid the pretense where we try to cocoon ourselves in certain segments of what we do and fail to appreciate that we are part and parcel of this country. The politicians tell us the church should stay out of politics. You baptize, you wed people, don't talk about politics. The church says, sometimes they say we have a responsibility, but we are not fulfilling that responsibility. We need each one of us to be able to move beyond saying, for me, I'm a journalist, so that is not my responsibility. For me, I'm an NGO worker. You find we segment ourselves so much instead of addressing the fundamental challenges that this country faces. Thank you.
Jaffa? Are you saying under? Or you call yourself Jaffa? I'm sorry.
Thank you. I have three observations. One, I work with the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, and I think as Muslim leaders, we are trying to roll out the civic education program. In fact, last week on Saturday, we had all our district cards, and we took them through what they have to do to mobilize people to vote and to preach tolerance and peaceful coexistence and all that. I think, and I even read in the papers, UGCC had a conference, something of a sort, and they were pressing the government to change the Electoral Commission. Now I have a question and then a way forward. Dr. Zach talked about patronage. And I think his observation was patronage to the political force. But what of patronage to the different heritages? For example, to cultural leaders. I've had religious leaders strongly dividing people along tribal issues and all that. Most especially the Uganda question and the rest. So what should be, what is your take on that? Leave alone them talking about government or promoting government values or policies, but what of those people who engage in divisions? Now, my way forward, I suggest that we strongly promote the national vision. I read in the papers that Uganda, we launched a national vision. I've not looked at it, but one time I wrote in the papers that as Ugandans, we need collectively to define our national vision. Where do you want to be? And how should we reach there? I think that will assist us collectively as Ugandans. And then lastly, let us promote free debate. Some of us who work in religious settings, our hands are tied. We fear to freely speak out on some of these issues that we see in our settings. But if we promote free debate, I think that will do us a lot of good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Senganda. Gertrude, I hope you don't work with the church or with the religious groupings, because I don't want this to turn out into people just defending the church. Charles, I'm reluctant to talk to you yet until... let's just hear from Samuel, then we'll come to this side.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Allow me to stand. Samuel is a program manager in IRCU, and my work is on peace, good governance, and human rights. And so, when I hear a lot of comments, compliments about what IRCU is doing, it touches my heart and touches my mind. Chairman, what I know about the religious institutions, the churches, really they are the salt of this world. And it is also biblical to say so. And I imagine also in the Muslim faith, it is fitting to say so. They preserve, they cause strength. They try to moderate. Just imagine a situation where there are no churches, where there are no institutions of religion, where there is nothing to do with God, and how the world would be. And so, Chairman, the kind of aspect that I want to draw to your attention is that there are different key stakeholders. What the church, the mosques are one key stakeholder. People who go to the church are called Christians. Then they are also called the Muslims, or those who go to the mosques. But out there, you will find, within the context, you will find farmers. You will find politicians. You will find economists. You will find all kinds of, depending on the context, they are also called the taxpayers.
My brother,
they are also called the parents in the context of family.
Sorry, I'm just encouraging you. I will encourage you to make your point.
Yes. And so, Chairman, even as we talk about the religious institutions, I want us to talk about the different roles that different key stakeholders play within their context. Because when we leave the church alone, the church and the mosques are not able to achieve all that we may expect about them. And so, let all the other different key stakeholders play their roles, including cultural leaders and cultural institutions. If they played their role, then we shall have a beautiful world. Then we shall have a beautiful country. If the politicians played their roles and accepted their values, then we shall have a beautiful country. If government plays these roles. And so, Chairman, let us talk about the different roles of different institutions, different roles of different organizations. And so, Chairman, that is the kind of contribution I want to present to you. I beg to
Thank you very much. Godba?
Yeah, just one quick point. I think the Bishop Father Peter mentioned about the different groups, the politicians, the civil private sector, that all these, they are almost patronage networks. And the whole point is that all these groups are actually bought. That the politicians, whether in government or whether in opposition, they buy these groups. Now, one of the reasons that we thought that we should have a conversation with church leaders here was to see maybe this could be one group that could be liberated. So that, so this could be one group that could be liberated so that it provides the conscience and the leadership for this country. And we know that the churches, the religious institutions are bought into, actually they are bought by politicians mainly through those contributions that you had and then through fundraisings. All the churches, now that elections are coming, all the churches and church-based institutions are going to organize fundraisings to invite the local politicians or whatever. So I wanted to make a practical suggestion. Oh yeah, the bishops are then given vehicles. The bishops are given vehicles. So I wanted to make a practical suggestion to our friends in the Interreligious Council, because that's a powerful platform. Isn't it possible that the Interreligious Council, where all the religious institutions meet, actually go there and say, as the church, because we as Christians, we finance the church. Now, we don't want the church to turn around and go to State House and go to Ministry of Finance and rob us again. Because that's, for me, it's robbery. The fact that the church receives these donations is actually robbing us because we finance it through tithe and offerings. So why don't we use the Interreligious Council platform and we issue a directive and say, church, religious institutions will not accept any gifts, any donations, any whatever. Yeah, no, I'm saying, and I'm putting this as a proposal, and I would really be interested to hear our colleagues from the Interreligious Council and Bishop Zach and the religious leaders here. How would that happen? Because we can liberate the churches from that patronage network that is really almost killing us.
Thank you, Godba. Let's hear from Chairman Mao, President Mao. You are now complicating titles, Bwana.
I would like to ask Bishop Zach, is there a debate inside the church about what the Reverend Canon Aaron Mwesige said is the prophetic voice and mission of the church? Do you think, based on what you have said, there should then be a movement inside the church to reform the church? In the same way that, because the reason why we should not hang ourselves is that we should always have faith that even within the problems that we face, there is an inherent solution. From studies of history, the Catholic Church used to sell indulgences. You pay in advance, then you go and commit whatever sin you want. And not until somebody with the guts to nail some document on a door for which his head was being hunted. So, do we have people inside the church who can go to Namirembe notice board and post something? Because there is evidence that there is this patronage. The other day, the wife of Brigadier Jim Muhwezi was made a canon. And not to be outdone, the Honorable Mama Mbabazi had not yet performed some religious rites in the church. So he went and quickly did the holy matrimony in the church, was wedded so that the wife can qualify. And promptly the wife was also made a canon. There's now this race to be made canons. Can you be a canon when you're under investigation by IGG? So, in the Catholic Church, there is the same tendency. And is it possible for us, apart from the reform-minded religious leaders, can we now have bridge builders? For me, as a matter of fact, I look at the individual religious leader. The Reverend Professor Matovu knows, when we had a crisis in Makerere, I spent more time in his office than anywhere else. I spend more time. No. I spend more time at St. Francis with the Reverend Canon Mutana, as we call him, Uncle Ben, than anywhere else. I think the most important thing is not to be blindly following an institution, but to follow a light. And that light can be in the Orthodox Church. It can be with a lay person, by the way. To the best of my knowledge, Abraham Lincoln never stepped in a church. He never. He said his matter is between him and his God. So, can we identify bridge builders? Because we have polarizing figures in the church. I'm proposing, can we adopt as an agenda to isolate those who polarize? Even among the politicians. In my own party, one time I announced that I was going to Bweranyanje. And some of my leaders said, no, that's a place for Protestants. But I had to go there because I know there are people who are leaders. When I went to Kabale 3 weeks ago, I'm the one who told